place, he laid his hands on my head and prayed for the soul of this pitiful, unfortunate orphan. I ain't no orphan. I got a daddy, and I sure as hell ain't pitiful. I walked out and marched myself back up Dome Mountain and never looked back. Daddy found me sulking in the hayloft. "Pony," he said to me, which is my name on account of being so little everybody said I reminded them of a Shetland pony. "Ain't no use fuming at God. He didn't see fit to give you no riches, but he give you a brain and plenty of grit. What you do with it ain't up to that preacher, it's up to you." Me and God had us a understanding that day. I promised if he'd understand why church was gonna be nature from here on out, where ain't no bird nor tree ever looked down on me, I wouldn't never let him down about using what he give me. I reckon God was okay with that bargain because I done proved my daddy right 1,000,000 times over. Now, I ain't what you'd call a woman of the world, but I done traveled a good bit and see how things is north of the Mason-Dixon line, and let me tell you, I ain't seen nothing I can't handle if I set my mind to it. I try wrapping my mind around layin' here stiff as a poker, but don't nothing come to me except the scent of Cherokee roses, 7-star white petals, 7 tribes of displaced Cherokee, the tears of a grieving nation turned to flower. I feel a rushing across my skin like the flow of cool blue water, the kiss of greening spring winds, the brush of a starling's wing. Right before my eyes, a wall of roses springs up in the piney woods, blankets the trees, swings from the branches, and covers the ground. This ain't happened but once in my life. The day I kicked free of my mother's womb, the day she died. His heart split in two. My daddy took his chainsaw and cut down my mother's climbing Cherokee roses. She was Morning Star, and she'd planted them roses as a reminder that half the blood running through her veins was Cherokee. Daddy raved through the woods like a madman till there wasn't nothing left standing but him and the trees stripped of scented vines. Satisfied there wasn't a single rose left to remind him of his loss, he marched out of them woods with tears streaming down his face. The midwife laid me in his arms, a screeching bundle of kicking wildfire. When he turned back around to show me that he was starting over, just me and him, every one of them Cherokee roses had sprung back to life. As I watch now, the Cherokee roses start dancing, a-swinging and a-swayin', like a wild wind shaking 'em. But the air is so still, you can't see nothin' move except them roses, not even the wind over a eagle's wing. My heart strains upward, trying to rise, and rose petals drift down and cover me like snow, like stars, like the tears of my ancestors. I figure I must be dead. If that's the truth, there ain't nothing I can do about it. I might as well hang around and see what happens next.
The walls between us. Present. The walls between us are as high as the mountain ranges. Chief Dan George, 1899 through 1981. Geswanouth Slahoot, Coast Salish, Band of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation. Chapter 1. Dome Mountain, Tennessee. Titus Jones stood in the middle of his tobacco patch, lifted his hoe from the hard scrabble earth, and listened. What he was listening for, he didn't know. Pulling a blue bandana out of the left back pocket of his faded overalls, he took off his straw hat and wiped the sweat from his face. Nothing stirred, not even a crow's wing. He glanced toward the flock of pesky birds that had landed earlier in the blackjack oak, high up on the ridge above his fence line, and that's when he knew what he was listening for. 5 minutes earlier.